In this video, I will provide you with a few examples on how you can install the rough plumbing for our two-car garage with the loft or apartment. And we will start with the vent sticking out of the roof sheathing. And this vent is for the wash machine, which is going to have a 2-inch pipe. And even though it might look like I'm going a little faster through this video, I've cut it up into a few sections, so you're going to get a lot of different views, and some of them might actually be the same throughout the video, except we might not have parts of the foundation or the framing. And I might make another video to provide you with a little more information about a variety of different things you can do on this same project that might or might not save you a few dollars. So here we have the kitchen drain, hot water, cold water, and of course we're going around the wall framing stud. For those of you who might not be familiar with this, you're usually not allowed to drill through a 2x4 wall where you have the king stud and the jack stud. That might severely weaken this section of the window and wall framing. And of course, now would be a good time to point out that you should check with your local building department and plumbers in your area to verify all of the information in this video. And here we have the bathroom sink along with the toilet and the water supply for the toilet and our bathtub. And another thing you are going to want to do will be to keep all of the plumbing inside of the wall framing and floor framing if you possibly can. Another important part of installing plumbing. And as I said, we are going to be removing some stuff to provide you with different views. And here you can see where the plumbing vent pipe for the bathtub, toilet, bathroom sink, and kitchen sink would look like without the wall framing. And of course we have our vent for the laundry or the wash machine. Next up, let's go ahead and take away the floor sheathing so that I can show you how the water supply pipes will be going through the floor framing joist, along with how you might need to notch out some of the framing to install larger pipes like the 2-inch pipe for the wash machine. And in a moment here, you will see where you won't need to do that to the smaller pipes that we're going to use for the bathroom sink or kitchen sink that's going to have an 1.5 inch pipe. So we are going to be drilling through the floor joist so that we can run our water supply pipes in the floor framing, and we will be building a little ceiling or a little soffit to cover the pipes that are going to be sticking below the joist. And it's often easier to do something like this in a garage where you're not worried about the ceiling. However, I rarely see plumbers do it, and I think that's because they're trained to keep everything inside of the floors and the walls. However, in my opinion, you can do something like this and install all of your straps on the inside for the framing plates, so they won't create any problems for the exterior or the interior finished materials like siding or drywall. And of course, you can save some time by not drilling as many holes through all of the framing materials. Another big plus with doing it this way. Next up, let's take a look at the bathtub drain and water supply pipes. Hot and cold water along with the shower valve, and we will have the lower section here for the bathtub, upper section for the shower head. Next up, let's take a look at the sink here, and even though I won't be providing you with details, I want you to go through the video and check out how the hot water is going to be on the left side of the fixture. Cold water is going to be on the right side. However, if you mess this up on a sink, it's not really going to be that big of a deal. You can just get longer hoses that you will be using to connect the water supply to the faucet. Instead of having the connection hose go straight up, it'll simply crisscross. This one will go over to here, this one will go over to here. And trust me, I've had to do that myself a few times. And of course, the kitchen sink and the end of the line for our water supply pipes. Let's go ahead and pan out a little bit, give you a view of everything there. And then we will remove the floor joist so we can get a better view of the water supply pipes without all of that stuff in our way. So let's go ahead and start with the water supply coming in, cold water coming in to a gate valve or a valve that you can use to shut off the water supply to the garage and the apartment. So cold water going up here. Coming up here, cold water is going to continue up to feed all of the cold water for the rest of the building. However, it's also going to branch off and go through the water heater. And of course, this is where our hot water comes from. The cold water will go into the hot water heater and then come out nice and toasty. At least that's hopefully how it's going to work. Now, here's something I like to do, especially on a job like this, even though it might not require it, and that would be to use 3/4 inch pipe to allow more water to flow to certain fixtures. Now, if I'm going to a bathroom sink and a kitchen sink, I could probably get away with just running 1/2 inch lines from this point here and this point here. So you're going to want to think about that when you're reducing the pipes down as to where you're going to position the reducer. Before the pipe going to one of the supply sides or on the other side. And this might not make a difference here, especially if we are using some type of water saving fixtures that will also be reducing the flow rate of the water. And this will also be something you will need to consider when planning what size pipes you're going to use. So again, 3/4 inch pipe going here. We got 3/4 inch pipe here, reducing down here after we get past the washer and dryer lines, and then reducing here and then reducing here down to 1/2 inch to go to the kitchen sink. And then here we have our stub outs that will be cut after the water pipes have been tested or filled up with pressurized water. And then after all of the walls have been finished, cabinets have been installed, we can go ahead and cut these pipes off to install our water shutoff valves. Next up, let's take a close-up view of how the 90s are working here. And even though I'm sure most of the people know this, you can always stop the video, pause it at any time if you need to examine something a little more carefully. And of course, this is what I was talking about when I said that it makes my wife a little happier to reduce after the toilet to avoid a problem that you might not be dealing with low flow shower heads. However, years ago, it wasn't uncommon to have someone in the shower and then someone else flushing the toilet, only to create a temperature change, and then within a few moments someone in the shower screaming because the water temperature got a little bit warmer, because instead of now having water dedicated to only the shower, you now have water going to the toilet and the shower. And I know some of you think, wait a minute, who's going to use the toilet when someone else is in the shower? Because a long time ago, when we only had one bathroom and 6 or 7 people living in the house, it wasn't uncommon to have someone in the shower while somebody else was using the toilet. And that might be a little too much information for most of the viewers. But what can I say, huh? Just trying to keep the video entertaining. And of course, another view of the water supply lines to the wash machine. Next up, let's go ahead and bring back the drainage pipes. And we are going to take a look at what the drainage pipes might look like without the concrete slab in the way. And we are going to be using a 3-inch pipe here, along with our combo fitting, reducing it down to 1.5 inches, and then using a sweep fitting or a long 90. And this will happen over here also, kind of the same setup, 1.5 inches to pick up the bathroom sink, and then a 3-inch line going to the toilet with a clean out, along with an 1.5 inch line coming off for the bathtub. And we are going to have 2 clean outs here. We're going to have one for the toilet line and one for the bathtub, even though you're probably thinking, wait a minute, what do we need something for just this line here? However, I would install the clean out, and you might consider installing a clean out on each one of the lines here. However, I will leave that up to you. And of course, our toilet, reducing down to a 2-inch vent pipe. Everything else over here is going to have an 1.5 inch vent. And I am also going to go through the roof with each one of these pipes instead of connecting them together inside of the attic, to provide you with another example of something that might be easier for you to do, including the kitchen, where we have our drain line here and then our vent coming up and around the king stud, so we don't have to drill through it. And then we're going to need a 2-inch pipe for the wash machine drain. along with a 2-inch pipe for the vent. And hopefully by now I have provided you with all of the views or angles that I possibly could for this project so that you can get a pretty good look at how the plumbing works. So let's go ahead and wrap this video up. And if anybody sees any problems with the plumbing, feel free to share it with us in the comment area. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comment area. And I will be making another video to show you how you can connect the vents a little different in the attic and to address any concerns that the viewers might have. So make sure that you leave those in the comment area as soon as possible.